So what is a super shoe? Well, typically the formula is a shoe with a good amount of a super soft and bouncy foam that has good energy return paired with a carbon fiber plate. These two components together are supposed to help increase your running efficiency, like Nike has marketed with the 4% and Next percent. So the shoes I'll be talking about today aren't super shoes because they don't have carbon plate. However, they do use 100% of super foam. I also won't be comparing all the super foams out there, but I will be comparing 3 of my favorites. So the 3 shoes I'll be talking about are the ZoomX Invincible, New Balance's FuelCell Rebel V2, and the Endorphin Speed from Saucony. So typically when I'm comparing shoes and they go toe to toe, I go into full details about all the shoes, but in this video I'm going to really focus on the ride and the midsole. So let's start with the ZoomX Invincible. So Nike debuted its ZoomX foam in 2017 with the Vaporfly. It's slowly been adding it to other shoes since then. ZoomX is PB foam, which is essentially a TPE based, more heat resistant and bouncy foam. It's typically paired with other foams or plates because it's a bit unstable, but the ZoomX Invincible is 100% ZoomX and a lot of it. To try and stabilize it, they gave it a really wide platform and had some plastic in the heel. The ride of the shoe is super plush and bouncy. The forefoot isn't as thick, so it actually has some nice responsiveness, but the heel has a ton of ZoomX, which makes it super trampoline-like, but a bit unstable. So Saucony's super foam is Pwrrrun PB, which is PB based as well. However, instead of a sheet of foam, it uses pellets that are essentially melted together in the shape of the shoe. This means that it has those same properties of ZoomX of being bouncy and more heat resistant. However, I found that Pwrrrun PB tended to be a bit more stable, but also firmer as well. The Endorphin Pro and Endorphin Speed were the first 2 shoes to use this foam. The nylon plate in the Endorphin Speed helped stabilize the foam a little bit and add some extra pop. So there are 2 newer shoes that came out that use 100% Pwrrrun PB with no plate. That is the Freedom 4 and the Endorphin Trail. So one of those shoes might have been a little bit better for this comparison, but I think that the Endorphin Speed definitely gives you a good gist of it. So the ride of the Endorphin Speed is bouncy and reactive, where you can take it on easy days feeling like a trampoline, or do a track workout and get that quick turnover and responsive toe off. Alright, now let's talk about New Balance's FuelCell foam. So unlike the other 2 PB based foams, this shoe is nitrogen infused EVA TPU blend. So compared to the other 2 foams I talked about today, this one is definitely the softest when you're just squishing it with your hands. New Balance has been using FuelCell in different shoes for a while, but this specific formula that they used with the FuelCell TC and RC Elite really showed people how soft and bouncy this foam can be. These shoes are paired with plates to help stabilize them, but the Rebel V2 uses the same FuelCell formula without a plate. I found this foam to work great on its own. It's soft and bouncy when going slower, but gets firmer and becomes more responsive when you're speeding up. So now that you know a bit about these 3 foams and some of the shoes that I've run in that use these foams, I'm going to give kind of a ranking of different categories and see which one wins out. First one is durability, and I am giving that to Pwrrrun PB. So out of these 3 foams, I'd say that Pwrrrun PB is definitely the most durable. I don't feel like the midsole is really broken down at all, even though I've put in over 100 miles on the Endorphin Speed and the Endorphin Pro. Plus, it does have exposed foam in the outsole, but even with all that mileage on it, it's barely done anything to it. And on some of the other shoes, especially like FuelCell and ZoomX, you can see that there is quite a bit of visible wear just kind of shredding down the outsole, especially on ZoomX when there isn't a ton of rubber to protect it. So that's why I say Pwrrrun PB wins durability. So for the ride of these 3 shoes, I honestly love all 3 of them. You can't go wrong. However, I think I have to give it to FuelCell because they don't need a rocker geometry or a super thick midsole to have a beautifully smooth ride on the Rebel V2. So the next category is energy return, which is more of a marketing term because it's really, instead of returning energy, just losing less energy. And I think all three of these super foams definitely do a great job of energy return. However, I have to give it to ZoomX, and especially the ZoomX Invincible, because even at the end of a long run or with over 150 miles on the shoe, the midsole still feels fresh and super bouncy. So one downside of these super foamed shoes are the price. It's typically very hard to find a shoe with 100% super foam under $160, not on sale. Because of this, we're gonna give this win to FuelCell because you can get the Rebel V2 for $130. So I wasn't really keeping score or anything, this was just more of an informative thing. However, FuelCell technically did win 2 categories, but again, I like each shoe for different purposes and different reasons, and I just want to give you my thoughts on how these super foams felt and acted like. So companies are definitely innovating with their shoes, and it kind of started with their carbon-plated marathon racers, but I'm glad that they're bringing those super foams into more everyday trainers or up-tempo shoes. And I'm looking forward to the future where we get 100% super foam midsoles at lower and lower prices, like we're seeing with the Rebel V2. So which super foam is your favorite? Is it one of the ones I talked about today? Is it from a different company? Let me know. And make sure that you check out my full review for all of the shoes that I talked about today. And as always, keep on running.